Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Ready to tackle something that's almost guaranteed to show up on your government
We
exams.
bet.
We're talking BharatNet today, straight from that December 21st PIB release.
PIB, always a gold mine of info.
Absolutely. And staying on top of those government initiatives, well, you know how crucial that is for exam success. BharatNet is a big one, so we're going to break it all down nice and easy to understand, easy to remember.
Because it's more than just memorizing facts,
Yeah.
right? Got to get the concepts.
Exactly. Okay, so BharatNet. Where do we even begin?
Well, think back to 2011.
Way back.
Yeah, that's when this ambitious project kicked off. The goal. High-speed internet, but not just anywhere. Specifically to every single Gram Panchayat in India.
Okay, for those who need a quick refresher, those are the local governing bodies in villages, right?
That's right. So essentially laying the foundation for a digital revolution in rural India.
Makes sense. And back then, the digital divide between urban and rural areas, it was huge.
Massive. And that's precisely what BharatNet aims to tackle. Bridging that gap, making sure the benefits of the digital world reach everyone, no matter where they live.
And understanding that why, that purpose behind the project, that's got to be key for those exam questions.
Oh, absolutely. They love asking about objectives, the impact, and it all boils down to those keywords. Inclusive growth, empowering rural communities, bridging the digital divide.
Got it. Definitely writing those down.
Yeah.
But hold on, they didn't just roll this out all at once, right? I mean, it's a massive undertaking.
You're right. It happened in phases, each one building on the last. Much more manageable that way.
So break it down for us.
All right, so phase one, that wrapped up in 2017. Focus was on connecting 1 lakh Gram Panchayats. Using existing infrastructure, think of it as setting the stage.
Laying the groundwork.
Exactly. Then came phase two, expanding to another 1.5 lakh Gram Panchayats. This time using a mix of technologies because, not every area is the same.
Got to adapt.
Reaching those more remote areas, I imagine. Yep. And now we're in phase three, all about making the network future-proof.
Ah, future-proofing, the magic words in tech these days.
You got it. Think 5G integration, even bigger bandwidth. Got to handle all that data flowing through this digital highway.
So knowing these different phases, that's super helpful for understanding how BharatNet evolves over time.
Oh, for sure. It gives you that timeline, that context. Could definitely come in handy for those tricky exam questions.
Okay, but here's where things get even more interesting. August 2023, they approved this thing called the Amended BharatNet Program, ABP.
Yeah, and it came with quite the price tag. Rs 1,039,579 crores. Serious investment there. Shows you how committed the government is to this whole thing.
Wow, that's a lot of zeros. But what does this ABP actually change? What's the big deal?
Well, one key thing is they introduced this ring topology for the network.
Ring topology. That sounds complicated.
It's not as bad as it sounds, I promise. Think of it like a circular highway for data. Instead of just one path, the data can travel in multiple directions.
Oh, okay, so even if one part of the network has a problem, like a cable cut or something.
Exactly. The data can still flow through other parts of the ring, makes the whole system much more reliable, less prone to disruptions.
Clever. Like having a backup road for all that data.
You got it. And along with this ring topology, they also introduced something called an IP-MPLS network. It sounds super technical, but
I was going to say.
think of it as a really efficient traffic management system, but for data.
So instead of everyone trying to get on the digital highway at the same time causing a data jam, this IP-MPLS thing keeps everything flowing smoothly.
You got it. And to reach even those villages that aren't Gram Panchayats, they introduced this on-demand connectivity.
So no one gets left behind, basically.
Exactly. It's about being flexible, connecting villages as and when they need it.
Makes sense. And the ABP also covers things like maintenance, power backups, even a fancy fiber monitoring system.
Yep, they really thought of everything. Of course, all of this doesn't come cheap. That's where the Digital BharatNet, or DBN, steps in.
Ah, yes, the funding source.
Yeah.
Replacing that older USOF, right?
Exactly. Think of DBN as a dedicated fund, specifically for boosting digital services in India. And its goals align perfectly with BharatNet.
Give us those goals again.
Sure. Affordability, high quality, making sure everyone has access, promoting economic growth through digital connectivity, and of course, bridging that digital divide.
So DBN is basically the fuel that keeps BharatNet running. Okay, so far we've got the what, the why, even a bit of the how.
Just getting started. There's so much more to explore. The real impact of BharatNet on the ground, how it's changing lives. That's what we'll dive into next.
Can't wait. And listeners, don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with your fellow exam warriors.
The more, the merrier. Welcome back, ready for round 2 of our BharatNet journey.
Absolutely. Last time, we tackled the what, the why, the how. Now it's all about the impact,
You
right?
got it. Because knowing the technical stuff for those exams is just one part of the puzzle.
Got to connect it to the real world, right?
Mm-hmm.
See how BharatNet's actually changing lives?
Exactly. So remember those examples from before. E-governance, online education, telemedicine.
Yep, those were pretty cool.
Well, now we're going to zoom in, see how they're playing out in rural India thanks to BharatNet.
Okay, let's start with e-governance. The PIB release talked about how people in rural areas can now access all those government services online.
Think about it. No more traveling for hours, maybe even a whole day, just to reach a government office.
Yeah, especially in those more remote areas, that can be a huge hassle.
Exactly. But with BharatNet, you can apply for things, get documents, all online, from your village.
So much more convenient.
Absolutely. And it's not just about convenience. E-governance brings transparency, makes things more efficient, and could even help reduce corruption.
Wow. Yeah, less chance for those shady dealings if everything's online and trackable.
Exactly. And for you future policymakers, understanding how BharatNet impacts governance, that's crucial.
Because they could totally ask about that on the exams.
Oh, yeah. Analyzing how it promotes transparency, empowers citizens, all that good stuff.
Got it. Making a note of that. Okay, next up, we've got online education. Rural schools, they face so many challenges, especially when it comes to resources and good teachers.
Imagine a small village school, maybe only one teacher for all the grades.
Yeah, we see that a lot, unfortunately.
But now, with BharatNet, those students can connect with amazing teachers all over the country. Virtual classes, online libraries, educational videos. It's all there at their fingertips.
It's like bringing the best education right to their doorstep.
Exactly. And it's not just for kids. Think about adults, vocational training, learning new skills. It opens up a whole world of possibilities.
Love it. Okay, and last but not least, we have telemedicine, which has become even more important these days.
For sure. No more having to travel for hours just to see a doctor, especially if you live in a remote village.
Imagine someone falls ill suddenly and the nearest hospital is miles away. Scary stuff.
With BharatNet, they can connect with a doctor immediately, get a diagnosis, advice on what to do. It can be life-saving.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And even for regular checkups, follow-ups, mental health consultations, it's a game changer.
Totally. All thanks to that strong digital backbone that BharatNet provides.
But remember, for the exams, it's not enough to just know that it's used for these things.
Right. Got to go deeper. Analyze that impact. Connect the dots. How is it actually changing lives on the ground?
Think about real-world scenarios. What challenges do those rural communities face? How is BharatNet helping?
That's the key to showing you truly understand the potential of this whole initiative.
Makes sense.
Ah.
Okay, so we've looked at some of the areas where BharatNet is making a real difference.
But we're not done yet. There's still more to explore. Challenges ahead, exciting future possibilities.
Stay tuned for the final part of our BharatNet Deep Dive. And we're back for the final stretch of our BharatNet Deep Dive. Glad you stuck with us through all the tech talk and those inspiring stories. Now, time to shift gears a bit.
Looking ahead, because any project this big, this ambitious, it's gonna have its challenges, right?
Right. And understanding those challenges, well, that's important whether you're prepping for exams or, actually working on shaping India's digital future.
Totally. Policymakers, they need to be visionaries, but you can't really plan for the future if you don't know the hurdles along the way.
The PIB release mentioned maintaining network quality as a major challenge, which, considering how vast and diverse India is, makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine trying to ensure consistent high-speed internet across mountains, deserts, forests. It's a constant battle.
Weather, power outages.
You name it. Even something as simple as a cable getting damaged can disrupt things.
And then there's the whole issue of getting that connection to individual homes and businesses, especially in those really remote areas. That last mile connectivity, as they call it.
Ah, yeah, that last mile can be tricky. Laying those fiber optic cables, that's just the first step. Often you need a mix of technologies, wireless solutions, maybe even satellite links. Takes a lot of planning to make it all work.
And then on top of all that, there's a whole issue of technology constantly changing.
Right. What's cutting edge today might be obsolete tomorrow. BharatNet has to keep up, adapt, upgrade. It's like trying to hit a moving target.
5G integration is happening now, but what's next? 6G.
Yeah.
Even faster speeds. It's a never-ending challenge.
It is, but that's also part of what makes it so exciting. And amidst all this tech talk, we got to remember the bigger picture, right?
Absolutely.
Mm.
BharatNet's not just about technology, it's about people.
empowering individuals, transforming communities, driving growth that benefits everyone. And that's what makes understanding the challenges and finding solutions so important.
So let's shift gears a bit. From challenges to possibilities. What does the future hold for BharatNet? How can we really use this incredible infrastructure to unlock rural India's potential?
Now, those are the questions we need to be asking. This is where we got to get creative. The PIB release touched upon BharatNet's transformative power. But what does that future actually look like? What if every village became a hub of innovation, of entrepreneurship?
That's a fantastic vision. Imagine rural communities using e-commerce to sell their products all over the world.
Exactly. Or using digital tools to create new businesses, new services. Location wouldn't be such a barrier anymore.
And it's not just about economic growth. Education could be revolutionized. High-speed internet could turn even the most remote village into a center of learning. Specialized courses, virtual labs, you name it.
And healthcare. We could have telemedicine centers everywhere, equipped with the latest technology, connecting patients to specialists across the country. No matter where you live, you'd have access to quality healthcare.
It's a vision of a truly connected and empowered rural India, a place where opportunity isn't limited by geography.
And BharatNet, with its vast network and constantly evolving technology, it can be the key to making that vision a reality.
Well, that's a fantastic note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From the basics of BharatNet to the challenges it faces, to the incredible future it can help create.
I hope everyone listening, especially those of you aspiring to serve in government, will really take these insights to heart. Understanding BharatNet, it's not just about acing those exams, it's about understanding how we can shape our nation's future.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, to all our listeners out there, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep striving to make a difference. And, as always, don't forget to subscribe to The Deep Dive for more explorations of the topics that matter. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.